Saw it.
Son
All right.
at gmail.com.
Oh, boy. Let's lighten the mood, shall we?
Yes.
Let's get Dude Walker on
Please.
the show. Let's talk. Now, we all love House of Cards. We talked about it on yesterday's show, how much we really, really adore House of Cards. And lo and behold, Rob's watching, and Rob caught it. Nobody else did. Rob catches the fact that our good man, Dude Walker, is on House of Cards, and Dude is the voice guy for the Mike O'Mara Show and for the Don and Mike Show before that. Dude's been doing it for years, formerly of the Dude and Doug Show, a legendary voice talent in the Washington market and around the country. Dude Walker joins us right now. Hello, Dude.
Good morning. Good morning. You're calling without warning.
Sounds
Dude,
great.
always great to hear your voice. First of all, how's everything?
Everything is cool. I'm sorry. What did you say that again? I missed that first sentence. Go ahead.
We have some feedback.
Oh, dear.
Why don't we do this? Dude, can we get a cell phone number for you and we can call you back on your cell phone? The Skype's not going to work, I don't think.
Oh, you mean Skype's not working for you? I'm
No,
sorry to
it's
hear
not
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's kind of the way the whole show's going today.
We'll call you. We'll call you right back.
Call you right
dude.
back, dude.
Call you right back.
Appreciate it.
Okay, when we test the Skype, just out of
It's not on
idle
our end.
curiosity.
It's not on our end. It's on Dude's end. It's
on Dude's end.
Yeah, because we tested it before. It's not on our end.
I think he had his radio
Yeah,
on too loud.
he had his radio up too loud. Call him on his cell.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You
I
have
think what we do, we probably should test the Skype with the person that we're calling.
We did,
Yeah.
Okay.
and it sounded fine. It might have just been a fluke. You know, Skype is
I like
not-
the way Rob says that to me. We did, Mike, which means you're wrong.
No. I'm just saying Skype
love-
is sometimes unpredictable, and, each connection is different.
I love throwing Rob and Pony under the bus more than anything else, Mike. I would like to blame them today. I can't.
Blame me.
No, it's not
Blame
your
me.
fault. No, not your fault. Not your fault.
Call
Dude,
him.
are you there?
Okay, we're back.
There you go.
Jesus.
Nice.
I hate Skype more than anything in the whole wide world. So, dude, it is great to hear your voice again. You're doing great, and Rob watches House of Cards. We all do, but Rob catches you the other day as Speaker of the House, putting Claire Underwood's name up for nomination, and came in here all excited. I said, it's been too long. We've got to get Dude on the show and get him to talk about that experience because, you've been doing this for years. You are the king of the walk-on small part in these shows, and that had to be a pretty good get for you, I would imagine.
It really was. Adding to the proud tradition of blink, don't blink, you'll miss it moments. I've had moments on Minority Report, The Wire, basically any Baltimore, D.C. production. I've been able to get a line or two and a residual check of maybe 17, 18 cents. So things have been great that way.
Dude, it's Oscar here, by the way. Congratulations. I know that you've done this work for years, as you mentioned. But seeing you on there, and this is this is the show. I remember seeing you post something about going out for the open calls,
Right.
the open castings. Can
Yes,
you walk
yes.
us through that process, just simply because there's a lot of people that are listening right now that maybe have never done it. Mike's interested now, of course, so you can help him through that as well. But I think that it's just cool that you get to do this.
Well, it is. It's a very cool thing to say you're able to do. I wish I could make a living at it. I'm afraid it's something I could almost say I dabble in now because voiceovers are my bread and butter. So when you get a chance to go out on these casting calls, it's exciting because you know that you're going to be on this amazingly successful show. It's not a question of whether it's going to be picked up or is this a pilot or something. No, this is a hit international show. So to get out and do it. Now, I've been a member of SAG-AFTRA for like 30 years now.
That's
so
the union, by the way, for people that don't know. That's the union that most radio television performers are members of. SAG is the Screen Actors Guild, and AFTRA is the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. And now they have merged to control more of the world, and we are all kind of we all. Let me put this delicately. Most of us are members that have been in this business for a long time. Some of us are really, really members in good standing, and others have perhaps thousands of dollars of outstanding dues that they haven't paid.
Where do you fall,
I
Mike?
cannot imagine which side of that you fall on. I cannot imagine.
I'm always in good standing. Absolutely, dude. Always. So my
Well,
question to you about this: you
I'll-
remember is this a union job that you take? Because this is a different world with an internet program, a program on Netflix. Do the rules change a little bit, or are the rules all the same?
No. Luckily, this is a very legitimate production, and when I say legitimate, they are hiring union people throughout. The carpenters and plumbers and all the other people behind the scenes, including actors and actresses. Not to say that there isn't a open call for non-union people, because they can only get so many union people to come in, and those non-union people are the people that most of the time they don't call them extras anymore; they call them background performers. And God love them. They do the scut work, the constant over and over again. All right, background, and this crowd of people moves from one side of the room to the other, has to do the exact same thing the exact same way. So there are people that do it and have a chance to get their union card that way. If you do a couple productions, you now can have the chance to spend thousands of dollars to become a member. So it's one of those things.
Wow. But here's and this is why we wanted to get you on, because it's a really fascinating subject for people that might want to, be an extra on a show. They might want to be background. They might want to try this. It's a really weird little way that you get to be, at least in the Screen Actors Guild. When I got in there, we got in there because Don stole a line that he wasn't supposed to have, and then they had to reblock the scene. And I said, I'm not letting Geronimo just get the line. I'm going to say something too. We both spoke when we weren't even in the script to speak, and they kept it, and we ended up getting our SAG card. The whole thing, dude, at least it used to be when I was doing this kind of stuff, was speaking. A speaking part is a big deal. Am I right about that?
Oh, you're absolutely right. It's a difference between several $100s and possibly thousands. So it makes a big difference. They have them down in categories of 3 to 5 lines, or day player, 3-day player. It goes like that.
And do you, as far as the residuals, he talks about the small checks.
Right.
If you have a bit part in something, you get paid forever, but they're minuscule amounts of money in most cases, right? For a very small line.
They do. For instance, it keeps getting smaller and smaller, but it's amazing how long the ripple effect lasts. For instance, I did Minority Report. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah, go ahead. It's astonishing. I agree with you. It's amazing. When did you do Minority Report?
In Minority Report in 2000. We did that in D.C., and I was 3 days on the set doing that. I played unfortunately, most of what I did was cut, and it's on, as they say, the editing room floor, but they still pay you. And so there you were, 3 days of work. To this day, I get checks from that, and some of it is overseas usage, VHS taping, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on. So in that respect, the union has really kept me, in some. I can only imagine some of these burned out actors who worked back in the 80s are living on checks from movies that are decades ago. So yeah, I think it works out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, when you talk about the union construction and the carpenters and the plumbers, I think one of the most impressive things on House of Cards are the sets. And it looks like you are in the Senate chamber, but you're filming in Baltimore. Are those original sets? Are they built, or where do you shoot? And are they as impressive in real life?
They really are. I mean, you and I have been to some productions, TV stations or whatever, and you go, "Oh God, this is kind of tacky."
Right.
The only thing good is that little 16-inch window where the person came through or something. No, these are really well done. I mean, I was so impressed. They should get tours. It is so gorgeous. And,
where do they shoot it? Do they shoot it in a warehouse up in Baltimore?
It is. It's literally a warehouse. You would drive past it on 95 and go, it's another warehouse. Right. But you go inside and this world opens up. It's gorgeous. And it's even actually better than the actual sites, because they have to make room for cameras and dollies and lights and all that. So it's even bigger and nicer than it would be in real life.
Do they
really
shoot
cool.
most of the show in Baltimore, or do they do it out in L.A.?
But yes and no. There are many scenes that you'll see that are in L.A. But they do a good portion of it here actually it's in Joppa, Maryland. It's not even in Baltimore. Their production is off of I-95 up in Joppa, Maryland.
That's where they used to have The Wire as well. It's funny because they have. What's great about that Baltimore, like outside DC factor, is that you don't have to pay the DC prices. Maryland There's a big deal on for the Maryland legislator trying to figure out how many dollars Netflix would have in tax relief for bringing the production here. It finally happened, and the fact that you live in this area, dude, you get to drive down. You know it very well. How many days of work do you get in, and do you get a chance to see the stars up close and personal?
Well, yeah, I knew you were going to ask that. And when I was there, Kevin Spacey was blocking out a scene, and he did a scene right before we did ours. And I was able to see him do that. And, I didn't go over and say, "Oh, how you doing? Nice to meet you." But,
yeah, you don't do that. You know better than to do that, right?
No, you don't. Well, you do it once, and then you never work again.
Right.
But so it was fun to see them. Unfortunately, Claire Underwood or Robin Wright was not working there that day. But, however,
you horn doggy, you dude.
When I was in wardrobe, though, I looked over and I saw this gorgeous dress on one of the hangers there, and couldn't help but walk over and take a look at the tag. It was an Oscar de la Renta, something or other, and I thought, imagine what this would get on eBay right now. If I could just walk away with this.
So, dude, you are, it's funny because I at one point was talking to a voice coach, and they were talking about doing narrations, and you have one of the great old-style announcer voices, and, and even when you were doing that baritone, when you were Speaker of the House, putting it up for a, do you get a lot of blowback from people saying, hey, man, not as announcery, don't be as announcery? Do you get any of that? I'm just curious about that as a performer.
I would say of the directions that I get, and many of them are just written directions for voiceover auditions, don't sound like an announcer is almost the boilerplate they all put down. Don't sound like an announcer. Okay,
wow.
That's a given. And then they want you to sound like somebody else. And I'm so tired of hearing, please sound like James Earl Jones. Please sound like, and like, okay. Do you really want that?
Right.
And then you do it. But no, you noted that most of the announcing now these days is done by very real-sounding people. Having said that, you can't sound so real that you don't pronounce half the letters. There's, you hear people, definitely. I'm definitely. Well, the word is definitely. I mean, if any word should be pronounced definitely, it should be definitely.
Absolutely,
but you can't overpronounce it and go definitely. You go definitely. Yeah.
So, and to be honest with you, if I got a narration and I'm doing my television documentary, I want dude. I want to hear dude on it.
This makes me so
fantastic.
happy because I think one of the only things I've ever asked of you, dude, is sound like an announcer, please. That's what I love.
I know, that's true. You're one of the last bastions of people who know what an announcer is. But no, I do things that take a little bit different chops. I did a thing for the Appomattox Visitor Center. They're celebrating their 150th anniversary, so you'll hear me down there.
A working voiceover man, Dude Walker. I love it.
I know.
Fantastic.
I did a commercial for Purina Dog Chow.
Oh, national.
Doing some stuff for the Golf Channel. And here's one you'll love. I just had to do a voice match for Ving Rhames.
Oh,
wow! Now, what does that mean?
Well, Ving Rhames apparently has a 1 day rate for this low budget movie in North Carolina, and they had a 1 day shoot with him. And during that 1 day, apparently Ving did not have enough time to finish all the lines they wanted him to do. So he went back to wherever he lives, and they had a casting call for a sound-alike. So I had to come in and get kind of medieval on your ass, and that's how it worked out. I was doing some. So I don't know when that'll come out.
Jesus Christ, dude! You're one of the whitest guys I've ever known in my life. I can't believe
he just hit it out of the park.
He did. He turned into Ving Rhames. That's great. Let me ask you one last question, then we'll let you go because we got to go to break here. Let me ask you, dude. Do you have an agent that gets you these gigs? A guy that you work with, a specific voiceover agent?
I do have one major one in New York, and he's also in L.A., Atlas Talent, but there's so many other online casting companies now that I'll go out and get my own work, and then, God love him, my agent gets 10% anyway. But it's just one of those things where you really need to go look for your own work, and then your agent maybe can negotiate the deal. So you can't just sit and wait for the phone to ring.
Will we see you on House of Cards again?
I I'm not going to deny that it could happen, but I'm going to doubt it. They tend to not revisit the characters like that. But
Okay.
we'll see.
That's a shame because, the Speaker of the House oftentimes runs into the presidency in real life. So I was hoping that before the end of season 3, we'd have you in the Oval Office.
Well, I'd love it. It'd be great, and I'll call you guys.
Dude Walker, you are a legend. Thank you so much, and thanks for all the stuff you do for TMOS. You take care, dude.
Love you, man.
All right.